Skingraft started about 9 years ago. We were living and operating in Echo Park out of a very small bedroom that was maybe 150 square feet, and with a loft bed, and below it were the sewing machines. Chris actually joined Skingraft a few years later. I say Skingraft was a circus because it was kind of out of control, and we were just kids, we didn't really know what we were doing, and he came in and brought a very grounded sense of focus to create it into a very viable business and kind of put us on our path to where we are now. We got some more demand, and the brand started growing. We started kind of in the MySpace days, so a lot of our traction was happening kind of grassroots. Our first website for the first few years was just through those social media platforms. It was kind of the first time that people were really engaging in social media. I think one of the first performers to wear Skingraft, I think, was Marilyn Manson, yeah. And we were so excited, you know. I think we were just working with his stylist. We were just, you know, broke kids making leather jackets in our bedroom, and I think that for a lot of performers in LA, that's just super exciting, or that's unique, and no one else has access to that, so that's definitely desirable. We're really inspired about expanding the collection and the ready-to-wear, and for me, like opening up a new stores or doing pop-ups, it's just more exciting than focusing our time on doing something custom. So we've actually been turning down a lot of it recently, just because I think that the brand is growing in an exciting direction, and that deserves more of our focus. Spring is kind of inspired by this like kind of, I mean, it's kind of a fantasy of this like desert nomad, this like nomadic wanderings to the desert. And what's exciting about the desert to me is that there's nothingness. It's kind of a blank canvas, and from there, really exciting things can grow or be imagined. So that's kind of like where we started. It's not one specific culture. It's not one specific group of like, you know, primitive people. It's like let's just start with the landscape of the desert and build something from there. We do a lot of black, but we don't really do a lot of studs. This is our take on this very like punk rock detailing of studs, but is inspired by the gradient dots of peyote buttons. And so we just like masochistically kind of like smother this in like these like gradient studs. So what I think is so cool about it is that there's this nod to something punk, there's something rock and roll, but I think that it just flows in a way it's a little less aggressive. It's a little more beautiful.
These kind of pieces that kind of have those old nod to that harness piece that John was talking about. Kind of references the old and the new Skingraft, and is exciting because we're starting our denim program for the first time this season. A mainstream denim color and denim fabric and denim cut, but still nod to the past.
We're just starting to get into doing some knitwear, which is such a mind game. Like, we don't really do it a lot. So we were playing with this. This is like with sheer yarn and cotton yarn, so it kind of creates this crazy mesh. And it's like styled like a snake belly, so like from big to small, kind of running with that gradient theme. It's breaking into a new like form of design that we haven't experienced before, so it's super exciting. You know, the Skingraft guy and the Skingraft girl is evolving. And I say that because I had a narrow idea of what the Skingraft guy and Skingraft girl was, because they were just kind of reflections of me, because that's what I often design for myself. And that bubble is constantly being burst and expanded when I see who comes into our stores and when I see who wears the brand. So I think that the Skingraft guy and girl is someone who likes to express themselves through fashion and through adornment, and resonates with our brand. It's kind of a muted, dark aesthetic, something that is artistic, but hopefully sophisticated, comfortable, but forward-thinking. And I think that kind of also represents maybe the personality and the people that kind of gravitated to Skingraft.